It's often been said that Canberra becoming the national capital places politicians out of touch with the real world. My view is that almost all politicians have too many staff working for them. I remember when I worked for Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser, there were 3 of us on the staff, that's right, plus an economics professor, John Rose, on whom the Prime Minister could call when needed, 3 staff. The current Prime Minister has more than 50. The problem with this is that constituents write and the letters are never seen by the person who should be answering them, the member himself, even if that member is the Prime Minister. I answer all my correspondence. There's a mountain of it, but it's how I know what's going on. And I know there's only one gig in town from your correspondence, 3 words, cost of living. It's horrendous. I'm not blaming the Albanese government, nor am I blaming the war in Ukraine. But we've had floods and fires, and that has created significant problems with produce on your supermarket shelves or building materials to rebuild after natural disasters. On top of that, staff shortages. But there's also a highly paid public figure on over $1 million who's at the centre of this avoidable mess. And that is this Governor of the Reserve Bank, one Dr. Phillip Lowe. I've spoken about this before. Far be it from me to agree with the Greens, but their Tasmanian Senator Nick McKim 2 days ago said bluntly and correctly that Dr. Phillip Lowe had got it badly wrong and Dr. Lowe should go. Senator Matt Canavan, who you hear often here, highly intelligent, magnificent politician, has made the same point, that many Australians took on debt under the false promise that interest rates wouldn't rise for some time. Lowe said last November, quote, "It is still plausible that the first increase in the cash rate will not be before 2024. Well, he went further, also last November, quote, "I find it difficult to understand why rate rises are being priced in the next year," that is this year, "or even in early 2023, unquote. It's a monstrous failure. Lowe's paid $1 million plus, and he's got a stack of staff, and his job is to control inflation. And as Matt Canavan says correctly, in the last couple of years, they've been going to climate change conferences and focusing on diversity and inclusion and not focusing on the real job inflation. Said Matt Canavan this week, quote, "I think the RBA governor should have gone when he promised not to raise rates until 2024, and now he's broken that promise 5 times. Said Matt Canavan, there has to be accountability. Well, having raised interest rates 5 times in May, June, July, August and September, Lowe now made a speech in Melbourne today to say that the Reserve Bank would need to lift interest rates at least twice more to ensure the, quote, scourge, his word, of inflation is contained. And he admitted that only months ago, last November, the Reserve Bank and other central banks had been caught, quote, flat-footed. Now, there are real risks here because we are in a cost of living crisis brought on by rising prices, creating inflation, and the answer apparently is the blunt instrument of interest rates.